so very awesome that I get the chance to experience you as a person.
Oh, this is so huge.
No, it's awesome. I absolutely thank you.
Where have you been? You've been hiding under a rock somewhere? Joe, I'm having fun with you, buddy. I'm so glad to meet you for the first time.
Yeah, so thank you again for spending this time with us. So you have 91 books. I can't read 91 books in a matter of a short period of time. I'm wondering, what would you suggest, coming from you, the person that wrote them, what would you suggest as far as like where to start and kind of how to evolve?
Great question. You can't read 91 books in a short. Let me tell you something, Joel. I didn't write them in a short period of time.
Yeah.
It's a long deal.
Yeah.
But I love your question, and I have Erin, who's my content curators. She puts together content for me for teaching, for books, etc. She does for me and for Mark Cole, who's the CEO of my 7 companies. Well, just raise your hand, Erin, so they can see. She's in the back there. So the reason I'm bringing you into this discussion for a moment is I'm going to give them 3 or 4. If there's one that you think that you really feel I missed out, okay? Just
Absolutely.
So
do you mind if I sit while I'm? Because I
oh,
want to
please,
write
Joel.
this.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, please. First of all, when people ask me what my favorite book is, I always tell them my favorite book is the book I'm writing.
I was very precise in not saying favorite. I meant, where do you think I should start?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because if I love whatever I'm writing, I think, why didn't I write this earlier? It helps so many people. Who doesn't want to help people? Okay, let's see if I can. What's that?
Today Matters. I started that one.
Yeah, there you are. Peter gave you Today Matters, huge book. Remember I said that every day you're either preparing or repairing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that comes out of that book. In that book, I have 12 daily disciplines that you need to practice. Just 12 daily disciplines. And they're all within your power to practice them. So it's kind of like, once you recognize the 12 things you need to practice, you can do. So that is an excellent book. I would say, for entrepreneurs, I would say Leader Shift. It's the 12 shifts. It's all about being adjustable and nimble and being able to pivot quickly as a leader. It's really a book that says, if you see before others see, you have to move before others move. It's that kind of a book, and it's 12 shifts in leadership that I've made in my life. Like I went from goal setting from being goal oriented to being growth oriented.
Yeah.
That was a shift I made. So it's a great kind of a agile leadership book. I would suggest that. Developing the Leader Within You 2.0, without any question. If you're a young leader, those are the 10 things. I mentioned that a little bit earlier to you. Those are the 10 things you need to do as a leader to be highly successful. And then when I mentioned to you already, Joel, 15 Laws of Growth would be in the top 5. 15 Laws of Growth.
I literally walked out of here twice, and the 2 times that I did was one to buy on Audible the 21 and then
Irrefutable Laws,
and
then the 15 Laws.
15 laws. So
I thought you had a restroom.
no, I didn't want to lose about it. I have no internet
I'm
here.
just kidding. You see, you're already a man of action. But the 15 Laws of Growth, Developing the Leader Within You 2.0. Erin, jump in with one of your favorites.
I think
Stand up, they can hear you.
I think a great for younger people, and you guys are moving quick, entrepreneurial. I think a book. There's 2 books. Failing Forward, and sometimes you
Failing
win.
Forward is a great book for entrepreneurs.
Sometimes
Teaches
you
how to
win,
fail
sometimes you learn.
successfully. And what was the other?
Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.
those are
It's
both
kind of
on
like
failure.
Failing Forward 2.0.
Yeah,
So
that's
those
good.
2 books would be great. It's a great,
I'm
if you
glad you
have
mentioned the
children,
Failing Forward or
teaching kids to overcome
Yeah.
failures and gain traction through those failures. Those are good books too.
Good, thank you. Those are 2 good suggestions. Yes, sir. I think, did I give you 5 or 6?
So just going through them today. Today Matters, Leader Shift, Developing a Leader 2.0, 15 Laws of Growth, Failing Forward, and Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn.
Yeah, and sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. Failing Forward are both on failure.
Yeah.
So I would say pick one.
Okay.
Because I wanted to get you in different areas.
Yeah.
Oh, I know one more. Oh my gosh, I know one more. I'm so glad I could help. This would be for sure in my top 5, probably my top 3, and that's how successful
People think.
how successful people think.
Yes.
And it's 11 thinking patterns of successful people that unsuccessful people don't do. Because the greatest gap between successful and successful people is the thinking gap. And so I have 11 thinking patterns. How successful? I'm glad. Okay, now you got your good list, Joe.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
thank you again
All
very
right,
much.
and now you can run out and order all those right.
Great question.
And just stand up so they can hear you. Thank you.
First and foremost, thank you, Mr. Maxwell, for just blessing us with wisdom. My name's Kevin. I started a Christian men's group called the Renaissance Room. And I wanted to ask your advice. What would be one piece of advice, the most important piece that you could think of, that you would give to young men that are barely starting to get to know God or getting closer to the faith? What would be one piece of advice you would give to them so that way they can continue to persevere?
Wow, that's a great question, Kevin. In fact, well, congratulations on your group. What you're starting I think the thing that I would say to them is I would teach them the difference between success and significance. And there's a world difference between the two. Success is pretty much about me. So when people introduce me, you know what they talk about? My success. You know, he's the #1 leadership expert in the world. He's written 90 plus books, da 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 da. It's all about me. You follow me? It's my stuff. It's, you know, my house, my plane, my stuff. That's success. Significance is all about others. And I know a lot of very successful people that are unfulfilled and unhappy. They got all the money in the world, but they're not happy. They're not fulfilled because their world is all about them. They have a very, what I call, selfish world. What I would be teaching those young men is you want to live a significant life, much more than a successful life. Now, I want you all to be successful. I've been successful. You follow me? I'll get on my plane pretty soon and fly to San Francisco. And I have a home in the mountains in the summer and a home in the Palm Beach area in the winter. I'm very successful. I've had a, but that doesn't count. That's all about me. It's what I do for others that really makes a difference. And selfishness and significance, they're not compatible.
Wow.
And the only reason, for example, the only reason I'm here is because I live a significant life. I didn't need to come here today. I didn't need another plane ride. I don't need any more money. There's the only reason I'm here is because Brett is a good, longtime friend of mine. So I got some young entrepreneurs, and would you come out and talk to them? I said, yeah, I'll come out. I'm only here because I want to add value to you. Are you with me? I'm not here at all for myself. I love golf. I live on 2 golf courses, okay? I could be playing golf today. You understand? And I'm going to play Augusta in 2 weeks, so I play great golf courses. So you got to understand my world. And I play with Jack Nicklaus, Tom Watson. But can I say something? It's called golf. And if the greatest thing in my life today is that what time is my tea time, I don't have much of a life. I've got to live beyond. Now, I still love to play golf. I didn't give up golf. I just don't, that's not my world. It's something I do, but adding value to people is something that's my purpose. You with me? So the reason I'm here is because of you, and I'm very fulfilled. I mean, I'm going to get on the plane, then I'm going to go to San Francisco, I'm going to speak there tonight, and then I'll go next day, I'll go to New York City, and then I go to DC, and then I go down to Guam. But I live a very significant life. But my satisfaction will be that I took all these great kids, and I look at you all, you're all kids, but when you're 77, everybody's a kid, okay? But I look at you and I think, I invested in them, you follow me? And some of you are going to go much better and bigger than me. You're going to go way. So my investment in you is what significance is to me. You can't buy that. You can't pay for that. There's nothing that replaces adding value to people. And so does that make sense? So teach them to live a significant life. I want to be successful. I want all of you to be successful because the more you have, the more you can give. You follow me? I give millions of dollars away every year. Millions of dollars away. In fact, every year I raise my standard of giving. That was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Every year I raise it. I've made a lot of money. I've given a lot of money. much more rewarding to give it than to make it. Because you gotta make it to give it. So I tell people, go make a money, go make a bunch of money, go make a bunch of money. But then become a river, not a reservoir. Don't hold that stuff up for yourself. Give it away. Somebody asked me what my net worth was. I said, my net worth's pretty good. But my net worth could be 4 times what it is if I didn't give millions of dollars away every year. But hey, but where's the significance in helping people? You see, money is overrated. It only gives you, there's only 2 good things about money. It gives you options. In other words, I have a plane. How to get to San Francisco and speak tonight? I go get on my 300 and I fly in 45 minutes, I'll be in San Francisco. I'll fly 2 miles above commercial airliners, okay? So I'll get there, drop down, I'll speak tonight. So it gives me options. You fly first class, you can fly coach, you can fly cattle car, I don't know what you want to do, but you get options with money. The second thing is how much you can help people with it. Outside of that, money is totally overrated. Just trust me. And by the way, if you got a lot, you know it's overrated. If you don't have much at all, you think it's underrated. But once you get it, you'll understand that. Does that make sense? Okay. Good question. Okay. Well, I see one way back in the back. Yes, you.
It's one more, then I'll bring it back.
One more than Peter says, go bring it. But we'll keep the questions going. We're just going to bring in 2 other guys to distract us from helping you. No, I'm kidding. Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming here, John.
What's your name?
My name is Greg.
Did you say Greg?
Greg, yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just only deaf.
No worries.
Not dumb. Just
I'll
deaf.
try to speak a little
You're
bit
doing
louder.
good. You're doing good. You're doing good.
So, my question is, and I just wrote it down here, so I'm just gonna read it. When someone comes to you with a question and you don't quite know the answer yet, or how you would meet their needs, but want to instill confidence in these people who look up to you, how would you go about that?
That's such a great question, Greg. Did you all hear him? Of course you all heard him. You don't have to hear names. The question is, did you hear him as well? That's right. Greg, that'll happen to young leaders all the time. And what I would say to you is very simple. When you don't know the answer, tell them you don't know the answer. People trust you not because of what you know. They trust you because you're honest. And so what I did, when I was a young leader, I would have people come to me and say, now, you have to understand, we're on your team, but I don't think I could come to you for counseling because, you know, you're 22 and I'm 45, I'm kids your age. Now, I could say, well, what do you mean? I know that, no. I don't look up and say, I don't blame you, I wouldn't go to myself for counseling. It's okay, it's okay. Now, will you help me? So what I've always done is if I didn't know the answer, I would say, well, I don't know that answer, but if you'll give me a couple days, I'll try to find it out and come back to you, and I'll give you the answer. People appreciate that because I'm with integrity with you. I'm not trying to fake it till I make it kind of stuff, because you can't do that anyway. What I found is that when I was young, I made allies out of older people. When I would say, I'm so young, I don't have the experience you have. Could you help me? Could you sometimes encourage me? Could you sometimes kind of guide me a little bit? And they became allies of mine. They got on my team, and they're lifting me as a leader, even though they know that there are things that they know that I don't know at all. So just be real open and honest with people. They'll really appreciate it, and you'll do really well. And you won't lose trust from people with your honest. You lose trust with people when they think you aren't telling them the truth, or that you're trying to, I don't know. You think that they're so dumb you can fake it and they won't figure it out. Does that make sense?
Makes sense, and I remember that you mentioned authenticity a few minutes ago.
What's that?
I remember that you mentioned authenticity a few minutes ago.
Yeah,
so that reminds me of
authenticity is so. It's just so. I mean, wouldn't you like to have some? Would you like to see an authentic politician? I don't know if that maybe is not possible.
Thank you.
That doesn't sound right, does it? An authentic politician. But wouldn't you just like to have our leaders I mean, what I love is they blame the other one for all the problems, and yet they aren't any of the problems themselves. I said, dear God, how stupid do you think we are in America? I mean, are we that stupid? I think the answer is probably yes, and that bothers me very much. Because I think, dear God, stupid people like stupid politicians, and so we all live in Stupidville. Yes?
You said something in there that was massively significant. I want you to talk on that, and then they're ready to come up.
Okay, Peter.
You said when you were younger, you never started a business to make money. You actually didn't know how at the beginning to do business, but you added value and you filled a need. And that's how all your businesses happen.
Yeah, I
These
did.
days, people focus on money first. Talk about the importance of focusing on value and filling a need more than money.
Thank you, Peter. I'm really anxious. Peter signed this book. I'm anxious to read it. Or there's 7 rules. I'm very anxious to read it and see if he's any good or not. I'm kidding here, but I'm anxious to really read it. And so, yeah, I will say that just for a moment. I never tried to make money, and yet I made a lot of money because I've intentionally tried to add value to people. That's my highest. Talk about high road leadership. Adding value to people is like my highest priority. In fact, our coaches, when they come together, and we 3,000 every 6 months, new coaches come into Orlando for me to train them and for our team to train them. And I do 2 hours on what is JMT DNA? What's a John Maxwell team? What's the DNA of a John Maxwell team? And I teach them these values. And the first thing I teach them is very simple. We are people of value who value people and add value to them. That's who we are. We're people of value who value people and add value to them. And they understand this culture that we create. And every day, I'm a person of value, and I value you. See, if you don't value people, you won't add value to them. So every day, I do 5 things. Every day, I value people. Every day, I think of ways to add value to people. Every day, I look for ways to add value to people. Every day, I do things that adds value to people. And every day, I encourage others to add value to people. That's what I do every day. I do that every day. Every day. So, when young leaders say, how do I become a leader? I say, start adding value to people. If you add value to people, what will you do? You'll influence them. Because people that add value to you have high influence factor on your life. So what's leadership? Influence. Nothing more, nothing less. So I tell people, don't go for the position of leadership. Have the disposition of a leader. And the disposition of a leader is that they add value to people. And why do they add value to people? Because they value people. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't value you. My father, when I graduated from college, said, John, if you want to be highly successful, do 3 things every day. Value people, believe in people, and unconditionally love them. If you do those 3 things every day, you'll be massive as far as a leader that influences people. And he was exactly right. And that when I write my books, when I talk to people, I believe in you, I value you, and I unconditionally love you. And because of that, you can feel it, and you migrate to it, and that helps. So that's what. So I add value to people. So what happened is, I would do teachings that would add value to people. I mean, during COVID, when COVID hit, now you have to understand, outside of a politician or like an entertainer, I'm the highest paid speaker in the world, okay? I make millions of dollars speaking every year, okay? So when COVID happened, I probably in 2 weeks had $7-8 million wiped off the books. It's okay. Everybody's in trouble. COVID's happened. So what did I do? My first question wasn't, oh my gosh, what am I going to do to recoup that money? First of all, I don't have to recoup that money because I already have it. But my first question is, how can I help people during this crisis? I go into the studio and I started doing virtuals. And I gave them to companies. I said, here's a lesson on fear. Man, that's all that's on. Here's a lesson on discouragement. Boom. Anything was happening in COVID. Here's a lesson on uncertainty. Boom. Boom, boom. Knocking out lessons. Free. You can have it, you can have it, you can have it. Just anybody, it's all yours. Just take it, play it. You don't have to ask my permission, it's yours. You can have it, you can have it, you can have it, you can have it. And 3 months later, at the beginning of March, or at the beginning of May, the guy that books me, my agent, he calls me and said, John, he said, you got thousands of companies and people that are listening to your stuff. And there's a line of companies saying, we want you specifically to teach our people this, teach our people that. I said, there's a line? Yeah, he said, there's a line. I said, well, start charging them $20,000 a teaching. And the line said, millions of dollars. I still do. Next week, on Wednesday, I'll do 4 virtual lessons. The next Wednesday, I'll do about 7 virtual lessons. I do Bake America, you name it, I do virtual lessons. Now they're paying me. I never started virtual lessons in COVID to make money. I started virtual lessons to help people. Are you with me? So it's not like I was brilliant and that I planned this. I didn't plan it at all. In fact, I was surprised when my agent Chad looked at me and said, you got a line of about 200 people that want a virtual lesson from you, but they're now wanting you to give a specific lesson for their organization. Now, okay, now we're getting into something. So I made millions of dollars. But I didn't try to make millions of dollars. But I did try to add value to people. And to me, if your core motive is to add value to people, the money follows. I'm not transactional at all. When you read High Road Leadership, middle road leaders are transactional. High road leaders are transformational. I want to transform people's lives. I don't want to, you did this for me, I did this for you. Does that make sense? So there we go. Very good. Okay, Peter, you want to bring the rest of them in?
Yes.
Or, okay, give a hand to, what do we got here?
Francis and Brett are back on.